Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm very excited today because we are going to be talking about the one, the only, the purely iconic Dolly Parton. So if you are new to human design, this will be really interesting for you if you're a generator, because Dolly Parton is a 4-6 sacral generator. So if you're a generator, if you've got a 4-6 profile like me, you want to find out more about you through learning about someone else, then this will be really good for you. If you want to like and subscribe and follow my channel, I would very much appreciate it. If you have any questions below, then please put them below and I will come in here and answer them. So, and also I just wanted to let you know that if you want to learn more about your human design, you can actually go over to my website and you can order your very own bespoke human design guide. It's an electronic version. I've printed this one out as a visual aid, but you can go on there and you can put your birth details on and this will be sent to you in 5 days, and this will tell you everything that you need to know about your particular human design. So let's jump in with Dolly Parton. I've wanted to do her for a while. I've decided to do her human design today. As we are recording this, she's not very well. She's actually deferred her residency in Las Vegas. I'm a big believer that love is the highest vibration. I'm also a big believer that when you can hold someone in your heart and think about them, you can actually send them love and you can send them light and you can send them healing. So that's what I'm doing today. I want to do a really lovely video in adoration and deep respect for the wonderful, wonderful Dolly Parton. And if you love her as much as I do, then I encourage that you do the same. Just, think of her today and send her lots of love and healing. We hope that she gets better very, very soon. Okay, so let's dive into her chart. I'm going to share my screen with you. Hopefully you should be able to see that okay. So as I said before, Dolly Parton is a 4-6 sacral generator. When I look at her chart, the first thing that really, really strikes me is how open she is. So if you look at her centers, there are 9 centers in human design. This might be the first time you've ever seen a human design chart or been explained what it is, so I'll just explain very briefly the differences between the open centers, which are the ones that are in white, and then the defined centers, which are the ones that are colored in gray, because this will be really important for you to understand her chart. She's very, very open in her chart. And what I mean by that is if you look at her head and her ashna, which are the triangles at the top of her chart, they're completely open. She's got no gates. Those numbers within the centers, there's nothing defined. So she's very open. Also her heart, which is the tiny little triangle on her graph, that is completely open. Her solar plexus on the right hand side of her body chart, the triangle that's pointing to the left, that is also completely open. I think it's pointing to the left on your view. Yeah, it must be. But anyway, it's the one that's on the right hand side of her chart. These are completely open, which means that she is absolutely intuitive in these areas, very, very open to the energies of others, and that can often be something that's a blessing, and it can also be something that can be a little bit confronting. I guess it all depends where you are on your personal development journey and your understanding of yourself, because what can happen is if you have these centers that are completely open, as well as all of her other white colored centers, they are undefined, which means of course that again she's bringing in this energy. If you can hold, so someone with their centers so open and so undefined, you could literally taste other people's energies. You can bring other people's energies into those centers and actually think that it's your energy. Think that it's your energy and try and hold on to it. And that's why we see a lot of wounds, uncovered or undiscovered wounds within human design, and definitely when I'm working with my clients, we talk about the things that are holding them back from going out there and being visible, and believing that they can do things, believing and accepting and feeling confident that they can go out there and live their highest life. And very often the wounds are contained in these centers. But I think, from, not that I know Dolly Parton, but certainly my sense of her, and I have seen her live, so I've been in the same room with her and felt her energy. And definitely for me, she comes across as someone that really knows herself and is very confident. I'm sure that she has days where she doesn't feel confident and she doubts herself, just like everyone else does. We're human, and that's what we're designed to do, to overcome the challenges. And I know she's had lots and lots of challenges in her life to overcome, but she seems to me someone who is very confident and very sure of herself. So of course what she's able to do then is to taste the energy from others, amplify them, and then use that to really understand other people and to intuitively understand them. So I would think that being with her, I would think she's very kind, she's very caring, she understands you, like she's a wise woman. Like I don't think you would be able to bullshit Dolly Parton, to be honest with you. I think if I was in a room, I think if any of us was in a room with Dolly Parton, we would not be bullshitting that lady. She would call us out, she'd feel into it, she'd know, like she'd be able to feel our energy, and especially the emotional solar plexus. If she was to ask you if you were okay and you're like, I'm fine, and you're dying inside, then she would know about it. So when you walk into a room, when your centers are open or undefined, you are a radio receiver. You feel the energy from that person and then you amplify it. And that's what she's doing in all of her areas. She's got her head, her ajna, her throat, where she's able to manifest and speak and sing and do all the things that she does. Her G center, she's such a chameleon because she has her G center completely undefined. Her heart is completely open. So I'm sure that there would have been some work through her life on her self-worth. And this is really interesting because she was born into poverty and she came from poverty. And she has alchemized that into something beautiful, not just as a singer, not just as a performer, but a space holder, a storyteller, a businesswoman, a business owner, an actress, an actor, a theme park owner. I can never say that word. Thralampitis. That's why I never describe myself as that, because I can never say the word. But she gives back. She is able to support others, and she has some wonderful foundations that is able to do that. So she's very open in all of those areas. Her defined area is her sacral and her root. Okay, so her root and her sacral are both centers that have a lot of energy. And so she'll get energy from her sacral and her root is also a pressure center. So she will feel the pressure from her root to act, to move things forward, especially when she feels stress, and she will be able to create that stress for herself so that she can move forward. But she needs to be mindful of the fact that she's a generator and she's designed to respond, not to initiate. So she is designed to go out there, to be lit up by life, to be lit up by her work, to attract in lots and lots of different things that she can then respond to. So she has this magnetizing aura that attracts people and opportunities and situations to her, and she can then respond with her sacral, using her body, not her head, using her body, whether it's a yes, or it's a no, okay? And then she can make her decisions. She tries to push and cajole, however powerful she is, however, wonderful she is, however knowledgeable and experienced she is, however much money she has, if she tries to push things forward and try and push and cajole, she's going to come up against roadblocks, and it's going to be difficult for her to be in ease and flow. Because she's a generator, she needs to learn to respond. And then when she acts in response to something, her higher vibrational frequency will be satisfaction. She wants to feel satisfied in life, to have this inner satisfaction. The frustration will come from her not self theme when she's trying to push things forward, she's trying to make things happen. It's never a good way to be when you are a generator. Let's talk about her. Actually, I want to talk about her incarnation cross first of all, and then we'll go on to her profile. By the way, as we're going along, any questions, then please ask them below, because I love a question. I love a two-way street. So let's talk about her incarnation cross, which is the right angle cross of laws. 60, 56, 53. These are the gates that correlate with this right angle cross of laws. Okay, the incarnation cross is her broader theme in life, and they are made up with the gates that come from the conscious and the unconscious, sun and earth. So this is her broader purpose, regardless of whether she is a singer, an actor, a business owner, an astronaut, a baker, a candlestick maker. She is here to bring a specific energy to the tribe. Okay, so we all have this energy within our incarnation cross, which is our broader purpose, which is how we keep the tribe alive. In the olden days, it would have been like, you know, physically keep the tribe alive. This is how to spiritually keep the tribe alive, and practically keep the tribe alive as well. She plays a very important role in humanity and within her circle of people, because her incarnation cross is the right angle cross of laws. So this is about enforcing the laws. This is about structure, order, and moral grounding. Okay, and again, I just want to put a caveat in that I do not know Dolly Parton, but she again strikes me as someone who has got very high morals. You can see that by what she says, how she acts, how she is, the organizations that she holds. She stands for things, she upholds laws. Remember when there was all the controversy and the division around COVID injections? She funded research into the inoculations. Now, whether you agree with that or not is a different opinion, and I think it's good for us as human beings to recognize that we might not have the same opinion as one another, but also we can also value what other people are doing. And she felt that that was something that she wanted to do, and she put her money behind it, she put her energy behind it, she put her voice behind it, and she funded that project because that was she was like enforcing the law. Can you see how her incarnation cross was happening there? She was enforcing that law. Not that it was a law like you have to have it, but, you know, it was something that was happening that she decided that she wanted to enforce. So that is a really good example of her living out her incarnation cross. I just wanted to point out these gates here. Okay, so the gates that she has got in her incarnation cross, so she's got 60, 56, 53, and these are really interesting when we look at who she is and where she's come from and what she's been able to create in her life. So gate 60 is the gate of limitations, and it's about overcoming those limitations. If you think about the limitations that she's overcome, I've already spoken about this. She was born into poverty. She speaks about it, she sings about it, she writes about it. Imagine what it must have been like to be Dolly Parton, being brought up with that mindset. I mean, this wasn't just like, my parents can't afford to go to Disneyland. This was like, there's no food for the children to eat. Like, there's no clothes. Like, it was poverty. So imagine what it was like for Dolly Parton to grow up with that poverty mindset, and what she's actually created today, what she would have had to overcome, her own limitations and the limitations of others. not being born into success, not being born into opportunities, actually having to carve that out for herself. And also imagine what it was like for Dolly Parton trying to create success within the world where it was at the time. And, you know, some of us might say that we're going back there now. But if you think about the environment that she would have been in, the industry that she would have been in, okay, just the, you know, the way that women were seen and treated. And you can see that the way that she was cast, like in the movies, you know, she's got big boobs. I've got big boobs. Some of us have got big boobs. I love my big boobs. But it like wasn't that the focus for her a lot? Like it was, you know, I used to live with drag queens, and their drag act was to do 9 till 5, and they had this costume, and they put their fists into the boobs in the costume, and the boobs would dance till 9 till 5. Okay, but she's more than just boobs. She's a very intelligent, wonderful woman. But think about all the obstacles and the challenges and the limitations that she's had to overcome. Gate 56 is the gate of storytelling. Well, that, I mean, no explanation needed there, right? What an incredible storyteller. I had the huge privilege to go and see her live in Glasgow. It was when I was in corporate, so, oh my goodness, it must have been about 13, 14 years ago. I think she was like in her early 70s. Oh my goodness, she was absolutely incredible. And what I loved about her is that she was singing, she was entertaining, she was storytelling. She'd tell all these stories in between. She'd tell the story about, this is the next song that I'm going to sing, and this is why, you know, this is the story behind it. And it just became this beautiful theatrical performance. We felt her warmth, we felt her kindness, we felt her energy. It's like we were on stage with her. She had no props. She didn't have any backing singers. It was just Dolly, just on her own, in a really cool outfit, right? And an amazing wig, just standing on the stage and engaging with the audience. And a lot of that comes from her 4/6 profile, which I'm going to speak about in a minute. Gate 50 is the gate of values and responsibility. This really is about kindness and generosity. I don't know if you're aware of this, but one of Dolly's foundations, one of her charities, is the Imagination Library. This is where she gifts books to children, because she believes that all children should have the gift of being read to and have books and stories. That really ties into her storytelling, and it ties into you know, giving back, that the word that I can never, philanthropy, that I can never say, right? It all ties into that. And then gate 3 is really creating innovation from chaos. She, as we've already discovered, she has alchemized poverty into huge wealth. And for me, as a businesswoman, for me as an entrepreneur, for me as a woman, for me as someone who, I mean, I wasn't born into poverty, but I also wasn't born into riches. So, you know, as I am building and scaling my business, I consider myself self-made. I mean, I've no one's ever invested in my business. I invest in others, but no one's invested in mine so far. So she is incredibly inspirational to me, and I'm sure that she's inspirational to you. Okay, so the incarnation cross is like the broader purpose, and then how she brings this into fruition in her life is through her profile, which is like the role that she plays within her life, the authentic role. This is not acting, this is like genuinely who she is. We share the same profile, which I'm really excited and pleased about. 4/6. So the 4 is the opportunist. We get our opportunities through other people. And again, look at what she has created in her life. She really is this a natural connector. And again, you know, going to see her in concert, I felt that, I saw that, I experienced that. She has built these wonderful relationships. She's very charming. So she gets her opportunities through others. So people communities, relationships are really important for her. But very often for those of us with the line 4, we also carry a fear of being rejected, because people, community is so important to us. So it's important that if we want to be successful as line 4s, that we do our best to overcome the fear of rejection and understand where that comes from, and then alchemize that into being the connector. Okay, being the did I say fear of connection, fear of rejection? Like, so overcome that fear of rejection, you alchemize that into being the connector. And then her line 6 is her role model. Okay, so it means that she lived her life in 3 stages. So first part of her life was about experimentation, the second part of her life was about integration, and then the third part of her life was role modeling and being an example. And how she has done that. I mean, she is a role model within her industry. She's a mentor. I mean, you only need to look at her relationship with Miley Cyrus. Okay, and to see them on stage together, and just to see that love and that mentorship, it really is something really beautiful and special to experience. So she's definitely an elder figure in the industry. You know, she's Sabrina Carpenter did a duet with her and a video with her. You know, this Sabrina Carpenter is young and new to the industry, and just like, you know, not completely new. I know she's been on a bit of a journey, but she's now really stepping into that level where she's incredibly famous and successful, and is reaping the rewards from that. And then who does she turn to? Dolly Parton, right? Because she knows that Dolly Parton is iconic, and she's an amazing person to be able to collaborate with. And I'm sure that Dolly had a few words of wisdom for her. When you are a role model in human design, it's really important for you to practice what you preach. So for you to really role model, and I believe that she's doing that. Okay, I could go on forever about Dolly Parton, but I'm not. That is a bit of a dive into her human design. I hope it's helped you. If you have a 4/6 profile, if you're a generator, if you have any questions, then comment below. You can always reach out to me, hello@abigailrebecca.com. Thank you so much for watching, for listening, sending you lots of love, sending lots and lots of love to Dolly Parton. And I will see you on the next video.